All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to another breakdown, and today is a good one. Now, this director, Rune Milton, I think it is, very skilled director, and you can tell that if you look at the history of things, right? Even though they work with multiple cinematographers, there's always just this look that comes in Rune's work. It's some of the best. And I had not seen this commercial. I was just looking through. I needed some good examples for something, and I came across it. And this is perfect because it's not exciting. It's not a flashy car ad. It is as boring an ad you can possibly make, except it's perfectly done. Beautiful cinematography, nice little storytelling moments as well. But really, the cinematography and the production design and the angles chosen and the framing and the blocking inside of this little room is really, really good stuff. So that is what we're going to be looking at today. Shall we get into it? Here we go. Okay, so we play this through. The story is little girl in a room, and she's got a new sister coming in or someone who's going to share her room. Yes, here she comes. Please don't be mean. Are you sure? Yes, that's the girl you should attack. Oh no, she's coming. And I mean, just look at the lighting. It's so played so down. This is a commercial for IKEA. And it is, man, it is dark. It is moody. It looks like a David Fincher movie here. And nice little angles where you only see one select part of the room. You're never looking where the light is coming from, but the light is always there, soft. Look at that shot, man. Oh, it's good. It's good. Take a look at the values down here. Ooh, not much in this area, right? Not a whole lot up top there. Everything playing in the meat, right? Right in the good zone. And then, ta-da-da, they become friends, and it's a tearjerker. There you go. IKEA. Forever. Okay, so let's start with the opening shot, right? This lays down a couple of key things that are necessary inside of this room to make the cinematography work. Number one, we've got a great location, right? Immediately, we are shooting into the L of the room, right? So we're already creating depth, and we're identifying the window here is going to be our main lighting instrument, along with this window over here, right? There's another window that is parked over here. If we go full screen, this is where you can see the magic starting to happen. This is solving this one shot, and deciding to do it from this angle is really what allows us to set this mood, right? And this is mood, man. Look at this. You got this hot high, which if we go, we got to get out of full screen. Wouldn't you know it? And let's go to cursor. Let's go see what this is. So this hot high here, right? That's the hottest thing there is there. Outside, you get this little thing on the bush, which actually gets higher, but inside the room, this is what we're looking at. And then that little bump for her, right, which is in there. Okay, that is the hottest thing that we're setting. Everything else is sitting nicely way down here. So quite a bit of contrast between the two, leaving us this little open area where we're gonna be able to place the skin tones, because that's what we're gonna want pop off the screen. So if we go back to full screen here, man, I need to get better. Why am I so horrendous going full screen? Okay, so we play through it, right? She walks to the door, looks that way. Now, why is it important? Well, number one, we have the hedge out there, which is not getting front lit. See how the light is not bashing into the front of this thing? Because that would not create this little tiny highlight. So even here, when we know this location in the interior, we're gonna really sculpt it with curtains that you can actually see through, but still add a little bit of color, and they're gonna be brand colors. And then we have shears in here that we can soften. So we're actually cutting light with these things in the shot, which in wides is very important, because, you know, on closer stuff, you can get in there with cutters, or you can use little floppies or something like that. But here, in this wide shot, if we wanna get this little broken up area here, there's only one way to do it, right? We gotta use what we can put inside of the shot to create those elements. And then the nice little production design and having layers inside of this shot with this thing. Again, the lines help out quite a bit, and then seeing the ceiling, right? Your cinematographer friends will be super jealous. Okay, we cut to this one. Not much here, right? Not a whole lot of shape. This is, we haven't gone crazy with all of a sudden adding light. The only thing to notice is that because we're gonna make this switch to front light, we need this shot girl at the window. Okay, in this shot, the previous shot, we are lighting this real hard bit back here. That hard bit has to be coming from somewhere. So it has to be coming from the window. And if we come around here and she steps into this, right? If we were gonna play this for real, you could see her shadow just start to creep in here at the end. She would be hit with this crazy front light. And we don't want that. So we just need her level up from the background, right? And this little bit, we're gonna try and window that out of the way. We're gonna try and get that hot area. So we still get this. We got nice shadow reflections, and we've got this. Not a whole lot of depth here, but the main thing is we eliminated that really hard fronty light that was shining on the background, right? That allows us to keep our mood nice and down. And then even in a frame like this, we're still adding in elements of the location, especially those little reflections as well, create depth that just bring you in to this location, right? When it's just not just plonk, here's picture of girl, right? We see the little hand here, all little storytelling devices. We come out here, frame this way, frame this way. Now this is backlit, right? Sun coming this way. We're shooting into all this shadow, which means all we really need to do is pick out these bits. And this is down. Right? I don't know what is going on with this window that they've done in the grade, but look at how far down this guy's head is compared to her head. And I can't imagine, maybe it's in dappled light there. I don't know. If we play through it, does it get hotter? No, just stays there. So she's really, I mean, even with the heat here, they're telling you to look here, but this is almost untouched. Maybe there's some neg there that is just taking away any of that return light, because that it would start to flatten things out. And we are really, in this, especially in this particular shot, we're really looking for those edges just to pick out exactly where we should look. The real magic happens though once we go inside, right? Oosh, right there. Oh man, where did this hot light come from? That wasn't there. Right there. We go in there, just reaching the other cheek. Depth there with the hot and the shadow, right? Just varying interest, even though it's really blobby. And then just that little tiny bit of light, little tiny bit there, that, and then it just rolls into darkness, right? This is a good looking shot. We're inside this little girl's head. What's she thinking? Oh no, new little sister. Yep, there she is. Runs in there. Oof. And this is an important one too. Okay, this other window, we cannot see out that window, right? Because then you would see our lamp. The lamp has got to be this side of the window. And even if you did, even if the camera circled around a little bit and looked out the window, you wouldn't see the lamp because the lamp is back here in between the two windows. If we roll back, right? The lamp is going to be here, shining this way. Because when we come around here, it's going to be back here. Right? That's the hard lamp that is outside. But look, she's not in that light, but there is something coming this way, right? There is something planted in this area where you cannot see, like a little light mat or something. Something is there. You see how you can't see through that thing? Because on the other side of it, around the back, is going to be the lamp that is lighting up her when she goes this way. And just a really good job of balancing things. See how it doesn't feel unnatural. It doesn't feel, I mean, there definitely feels like there's a light there, right? If you stop and look at it. But it still feels like it could be just the bounce around the room, but it is definitely not the bounce around the room because look, it's still, I mean, even this interior light is upstage because we're getting shadow, nose, all of this, and just a little bit of level, right? Not at the same level as back here. We don't want it that hot. It's just a little tiny, tiny bit. And then to keep interest in this boring white-walled room, you have the curtains and the shears that block off the light. So you only get this little tiny hot spot. You get something across here, which leads you to the face. And then up here, just peppered with little goodies. And again, shooting into the L of the room when she sits down so that we create as much depth as we can and lighting through the window that we cannot see. Okay, just really well done. And then this, who knows if there's a little neg on that wall or something just to suck up all the return light that would be going from whatever this light is over here on the ground that's going this way. You just don't want it bouncing off that wall and returning here and flattening it out. You want to keep that contrast, especially when you have it this perfectly sculpted, right? You don't want any light coming in this way and contaminating things. From there, we got, again, a little darkness in the foreground as she comes around, mom out the back, and then, oosh, now we're in. Okay, now the light has changed angles and it's changed sides a little bit. It's significantly darker, but we're again in this real close shot inside this girl's head. And this is upstage key, neg, add some little elements in the background to create something interesting. This is all pretty stock standard stuff. Still notice we haven't seen this corner of the room over here. Behind the wall divider, where is it if we go back? We haven't seen over here, and we will never look over there, right? Because that is where all of our lighting is coming from. So we need to pick an area in those wide shots where we're never gonna look, and it's going to be here, because that's where we're gonna park our light from so we can shoot upstage and shoot into the L of both sides of the room. Okay, we've seen this, walk across. Next we get the single. Man, this, look at the balance in levels. This is what we call setting room tone, right? This level here, this level here, this stuff here, and then you do the slash. So the slash would come in. I mean, you can do it two ways. You can either balance the slash to the room tone, or you can balance the room tone to the slash. Probably easier in a location like this, if you're on location, to balance everything to the room tone. So to balance the slash to the room tone. That's probably going to be your quickest step. Or, you know, if you do have a way of getting like a light mat pre-rigged in here up top, which is fairly easy to do, right? Just on like a little Widowmaker setup here, where you can just push it on either side of the hallway and then put it down so you get this nice soft light. But this is the important thing with room tone, is you see there is a light here, right? There is definitely light coming down from above, lighting her up. It's not just dark, but it doesn't feel like it's coming from anywhere. It just feels like it's there. Like it's dark, but there's enough exposure to see. That is the trick with room tone, and that is it done really, really well. You want the light just like, oh, it's not gonna make it, it's not gonna make it, and then it just falls on whatever it is. There's no crazy shadows on the ground, there's no tells, there's no hot spots anywhere, right? It doesn't get hotter here than it is down here. It's just perfectly balanced room tone, almost shadowless, and just enough level, right? And you can get away with that with super sensitive cameras nowadays. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of level, and then slash across. And we're talking just the framing of the shot as well. Depth, going to the door. I mean, this is a classic, the hallway shot, right? Every horror movie has something like this. But then again, balancing it out here with this color, and then the slash across is cool. Okay, we go from there, our beautiful room tone shot. So look at what we've done here. We've gone from dead center, and we picked the right side of the line. We can see into the room, and this light has severely softened off. But look at that nose shadow. Man, that is a beautiful looking shot. You can't get any better than this. For setting mood, for telling people exactly where to look. This is it, a little bit of depth. Even into, you're gonna think I'm going crazy with this concept, but this is the L of the hallway, right? Because we are looking into the little beam there with the crack in the door, that little light to dark, dark to light to dark to light to dark. It's just really well done. And then this, let's see what that is on the old, and that is down there, but it's all in there, right? Everything is in there except little face and the door, and it's nowhere near the top. Everything in that toe and just expanded so you can still see it, but it feels really, 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 really dark. Okay, from there, let's make it bigger. I think it gets even better from here. Okay, again, where aren't we looking? Still works. We're not looking down here because this is where our light is coming in that is doing this number, and then we're outside with the slash, right? And again, just creating depth. I mean, this is the whole ad is selling this thing. You don't know that, but that's the whole ad is selling that little room divider. Get a little book out, enter. Oh, ta-da, upstage, nose shadow. You can see the eye light there, but then slash. Now that is a soft slash, right? See how it transitions from slash down here, slowly gets darker up the room? Well, that's gonna happen on her body too, but then you're mixing in the soft light. So Andre would be super proud, right? Saboff would be loving this. Come in and look at the quality of that light, right? It's like very, very, very soft, but still soft and dark. So soft and dark you have to do with neg because it's gonna be so wrappy that it would wrap all the way around, right? You don't want that, so you have to cut it off with the neg. And then we've got her back turned with the light streak back there, then light this way. So you got light to dark to light to dark. You get to her face, then dark, then light. I mean, it's just really depth and peppered across the frame. This one, I mean, what can I say? That's a good looking shot. And why is it good looking? You should already know, right? This is framework. Boom, that way, little leak, bounce up from the book, right? It's probably got her little book there or a little piece of poly, so you just get a little bit more wrap from whatever she's looking at. And then, yeah, just choosing the right side of the line here and choosing for her to be inside of the room and where the bed to be inside of the room is just beautiful. I mean, that is a good looking shot. You're putting that on your reel, right? Sit down. Again, we haven't seen over here. And we're doing the same trick on this side of the room. We're lighting this way and we're creating a slash from outside the room. And still good looking. Come on, come on. How could you make this better? In a room, you got a little girl, she's in a room, you want to create shape and mood. How do you make this better? I don't know how. I don't know how. I can't remember the cinematographer's name, but it's, I mean, beautiful work. Look at that, same thing. You got a little girl parked right up against this wall. right? So you have to do it through contrast. You can't separate her from the wall. That's the size of the bedroom to still be believable. You don't want too much crazy fall off. So having her parked right up against the wall, but still being able to fit a slash just behind her. This is, I mean, really, really good. And then this thing in there, right? And that is, who knows, that ends up being the product. It just ties in so well, everything together. And then where do we go from there? Again, beautiful shot. Another beautiful one. I mean, look at the shadow though. Like, so when we're in this shot, when we can't really get something in that close, just notice the transition from light to dark across the face, and then how it's a little bit lifted in the shadows there. And then when we come around to even closer, dense shadow, and then dense, right? Now it's dense. Now it's dense, and now it just perfectly wraps around to the other side. You can see the little light in there, right? The light from the ground, and then the window light, right? You can see them both. Really, really nice stuff. And where does this thing happen to be, this bright spot? Is it on this side of her face? No, it's on the dark side. So you go across the image that way, and then you know right where to look. And a little smile and a run across. Now we do see into this little corner of the room, right? First time we have seen over here the entire ad. Now we are lighting this way, all from outside. We've also got a new sunspot, which I think she's in at the start. Yeah, there she is. See how she's actually in it here? This little light that comes out of nowhere. And then we do have this little thing just to, you go depth, this thing in there, just layer after layer after layer in what is basically just a bedroom with a little tiny bit of wallpaper on it, and just creating enough room tone and enough shape. And this thing is slowly but surely getting softer, this thing, from the start of the ad to the end. But that's okay, right? We have to deal with it. And look at how the curtains have opened up. They're not near as together as they once were. They've opened up, which means you're letting more light in, which means we get more light in the background. And this is a good looking ad, beautifully played. And she steps through, what does she step through right there? Oh, she steps through, oh, that line. So this one is coming from over there as well, right? So we got two suns here. We got one coming this way, and then you got one going that way. Both coming out of the same window. And so to do this one, you just have to be far enough back with the lamp that you can't see it in this shot. If you just walk it back this way, then you can shine it in here. And you see she walks right through it. Man, this is going to be my new go-to study for how you can take a concept where on paper, you can imagine how boring this thing could have been, or how bright they could have made it, how vanilla. But this is like beautifully crafted. Very well done job by director, cinematographer, the whole team, really. So kudos to them. Okay, so that's an example of what you can do, even with maybe not the most exciting content. You can still work and progress and try and get every step better along the framework and try and get it more dense and more rich. And once you get to the top, this is what it looks like. Okay, that's going to do it for this week. If you've got commercials that you want to see broken down or any techniques, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. I appreciate all the support. And if you like this stuff even more than that, you can head on over to Patreon, where we've been going for, I think, 5 years now. And we've got lots and lots of content, basically a podcast every single week, breakdowns every single, live streams every other week. There's just a lot of stuff going over there if you're into cinematography. So check it out. Okay, thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.